Lord Black was sentenced today to 6 years in prison. This is a cautionary tale regarding Saturn return. The second Saturn return, payback time, began badly for Lord Black and his wife, Barbara Amiel. She could be compared to Lady MacBeth. They married about 15 years ago, her for the 4th time and him for the 2nd. Lord Black was convicted on July 10, 2007 in Chicago of fraud and racketeering charges, which is understandable. It's just too bad Barbara Amiel couldn't be convicted too. Women's lib will really have come full circle when it becomes illegal to drive a man to ruin. Let's take a look at Amiel's character as described by the UK's Independent. According to the UK's Independent, the lifestyle and shopping habits, the arrogance and the personal insecurity of the former Miss Amiel, now Lady Black of Cross Harbor, was a constant subplot of the complex story that ended when her husband, with her husband's conviction of fraud, which today ended with his sentencing. The extent to which Amiel is claimed to have benefited from the alleged wholesale looting of Hollinger International's finances, Black's publicly held company, was set out this week in a 50-page report by a special committee established to investigate the affair. One of the reasons the money was needed, the report said, was to satisfy the liquidity needs arising from the personal lifestyle Black and his wife had chosen to lead. The report continues, these choices include the purchase of a lease of 2 corporate jets, a $530,000 holiday in French Polynesia, a $2,463 handbag, exercise equipment at $2,000, opera tickets at $2,000, a birthday party for Barbara at New York's La Grenouille restaurant costing $42,000, contributions to the salaries of a chef, senior butler, guard, and chauffeurs at their homes in London, New York, and Florida. Perfume, food, shopping trips for a meal, and cash for trips for such shopping trips. Apparently, Barbara has made public comments about her extravagance before, including in an autobiography in which she claims she suffered a slight as a teenager. Her father abandoned the family, and she was raised in a very different circumstances than the ones she enjoyed with Lord Black. The Guardian profiles Barbara as born in Watford in 1940. She was 8 when her parents divorced after her father left for another woman. Her mother remarried, moved the family to Canada, and settled in Hamilton, Ontario. When her stepfather had trouble finding a job, however, relationships at home became rocky, and at 14, Amiel struck out on her own. A year later, her natural father killed himself back in Britain. Her troubled background is cited by many as a reason for her toughness today. Sandra Laville in The Guardian describes Amiel as follows. It is Amiel's combination of intelligence, beauty, and sex appeal, which she uses as a form of direct action in society, which has contributed to her success both in social circles and professionally. If she sits next to someone at dinner and she decides she wants to please, there's no one more brilliant than her, said one hapless man. She fixes those great green eyes on you, and the rest is history. It is an amazing performance. Many of her friends cite female rivalry as a reason for much of the criticism of 63-year-old Amiel. At 63, she's just starting to receive the rewards or punishments of her second Saturn return. It is women who have made her a man's woman. The subtext is that she is drop-dead gorgeous, said Andrew Roberts, the right-wing historian and close friend of Amiel. She is fiercely attractive. She is as sexy as hell, and she presumably knows it. I certainly know it. What can we see from Barbara's chart? We don't have the birth time, but the immediate factor is Saturn in Taurus. This is often a sign of an impoverished childhood, leading to very low self-esteem. It also accents the overweening ambition and greed possible of Taurus. Hitler is an example. Remember, Scorpio gets the bad reputation, but Taurus can be far greedier. Combined with an Aquarius moon and Aries south node, this person could be utterly ruthless as well as greedy. By the way, many a gal with Saturn in Aries, or in this case south node in Aries, strikes out on her own by 14 or 15, often through a pregnancy, but any excuse to get out of the house is used. Barbara also has Saturn opposite Venus. Excuse me. Barbara also has Saturn opposite Venus, so this is a classic case of overcompensation for feelings of low self-esteem and unattractiveness or unlovableness. There may be spite involved as well, as though putting notches on her belt will make up for her father leaving her. She could be cold-blooded about this. We can be fairly certain Barbara uses her sex appeal like a machete, hacking her way to the top. There's a fixed grand cross between 6 planets, giving Amiel's life the scope and determination it had. This is a world competitor, just as though it were Hitler. She just used the tools at hand since she was a woman, not a man. The body count now includes Lord Black, who will be heading to prison for 6 years in a couple of weeks. Lord Black's chart has had Pluto making a T-square to his long stellium of planets in Virgo. They include the Sun, Jupiter, Venus, Mercury, Mars at this moment, and soon Neptune. Barbara represented a plutonic force of destruction as she came into his life to undo him, or so it would seem. It is a shame because Lord Black could have left a fine legacy. All those planets in Virgo, and the Sun is conjunct Jupiter, which in Virgo usually is the indicator of honesty and integrity. Lord Black has Saturn in Cancer, and this may have made him vulnerable to a woman who used him under the guise of love. P.S. As one reader has already mentioned, chances are slim she'll stay with him. The Saturn in Cancer abandonment will get him wounded over again. If you have a star or a favorite celebrity or a current world event that you'd like me to comment on astrologically, reach me on my email, nancy@bemyguide.net, and let me be your astrologer.